Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Dear venerable monks, family and friends, first of all, on behalf of the monks and the Buddhist community at Hoi Đức Temple, we'd like to offer our deepest condolences for the loss of your loved one. We all gather here to show our respect, love, and share memories that you cherish with your loved one. She was your mother, or sister, grandmother, or someone that touched your life when her appearance, when her form was here on this earth. And during a Buddhist spiritual service, we take this chance to share some of the Buddhist teachings that can be beneficial for both the departed and the one who are continue to live. For some of you, this may be the first time you encounter a Buddhist spiritual practice. So there are maybe some confusion, and you want to understand what to practice and how to practice in order to support, in order to pray, in order to help your loved one to be reborn in a better realm. Many of us don't really know the mechanical system of a car, right? But we do trust the car, and we do drive the car. Similarly, many of us, many of you, don't really know how Buddhist spiritual practice can help your loved one to be, reborn, or to continue her next journey into another world. It is more about your state of mind than what is happening externally. For example, during the practice just now, remember we call it a practice. It's not a performance, it's a practice. So when you practice, you bow, you kneel down, you offer tea, you offer food, and you offer incense. What does that mean? What do all those practices mean? It's a way, first of all, externally you show your love and respect to your loved one. And secondly, in your mind, you are thinking about them. You are wishing them to be reborn. In Buddhism we believe if we pray and we practice correctly, our merit can be transferred to her and support her in her next journey. An example could be you have someone you love who live in a different country. You love them so much, and one day you decide to cook their favorite meal. But they are far away. How can they enjoy the meal? You FaceTime them, showing them their favorite meal that you have prepared for them, even though they cannot touch it, they cannot smell it, they cannot eat it, but they are touched by your by the work and by your thought that you think about them, right? They can only see the food, the meal that you prepare, and that touches their hearts. Similarly, all of these spiritual activities touched her mind, and it can be transferred to her to support her next journey. So it is about your state of mind when you do the practice. Secondly, we understand that each of us will be here a while. For some, 100 years. Others maybe longer, others shorter. The one thing that is sure is that we will all go. It is a process of transformation. Conventionally, we say someone died. If death is to be understood, it is not from something to become nothing. No one and no thing will become nothing. Everything transforms like a caterpillar. When the conditions are suitable and enough, it will transform into butterfly. When you see a cloud in the sky, and then next minute the cloud disappears, the cloud doesn't die. The cloud becomes rain that is in your water. Or when you plant a seed, if conditions are enough and suitable, that seed will sprout into a tree. Similarly, we are also manifesting into different form when we leave this earthly form. And the practice we are doing here is to generate spiritual energy to send to your loved one that help her to manifest in a better form. Maybe you may not familiar with her new form because you loved her old familiar form, right? So during that process, it can generate grief because you want to hold on to the old familiar form of her. You don't want to let her go because you are so familiar with that form. And in order to, maybe to allow her to transform into a different form, you grieve. We grieve when we lose someone. And grief is okay. Right? I don't know who tell you don't cry. You can grieve. You can cry. It is okay to grieve. However, we are here to help you to process that grief. Buddhism gives you 49 days to grieve. Remember, you don't have to grieve alone. I understand that each of us will grieve differently. Sometimes we become agitated, sometimes we become very sad, and some people even become, depressed. Each of us grieve differently. But if you have a spiritual community like we have in South Portland, Holy Đức Temple, you can grieve together with them. So 49 days, you come to the temple every Sunday to practice, to grieve together, to share your grief with the community. And that grief will become a collective. And you don't have to grieve, you don't have to carry the burden of grief by yourself alone. It is very important to share your grief, because if you keep it private, it will eat you from the inside. And not only your love turns into something, not beautiful, but it will drive away the people that you love who are still with you. So if you want to support more the person who is departed, come to the community each Sunday to practice and grieve together. Now your loved one's journey has concluded on this earth. However, your journey with your loved one is not ended yet. So, two things. Your loved one's journey has concluded, but your journey with your loved ones has not. So how do you carry on that journey? So each of your cells in your body, there is a part of your loved one in there. If now I say, think about a moment that you had with her, it will immediately come to your mind, right? So that is the journey that you will carry with you to, continue, to help her continue her journey forward. So how do you do that? You want to carry that journey with happy and positive seed that manifests beautifully in here and the future. When they leave this earth, they don't want you to always be sad. You can be sad now because you grieve, but in the future, she would want you to live happily and to manifest beautifully. That is how, our parents and grandparents want their children to be, right? So you want to honor what is in you that carries her memories, her cells, her, spiritual energy. So no word can describe, the feeling of losing someone we love. The absence of their form is filled with indescribable sadness that hangs relentlessly on the air that we breathe. So that we should breathe mindfully to filter each moment with energy of calmness, that each breath becomes nurturing elements that carry us over these unbearable moments. On behalf of the monks and the Buddhist community, we grieve with you. We're here for you, and we hope that you are also here for her and for each of your loved ones who are still with you. Thank you for listening.